Okay, let's dive right into the material you sent over. We're looking at this really critical shift, the recent, well, dramatic escalation between Israel and Iran.
Yeah, it's quite something. For so long, decades really, it felt like this shadow conflict, right? Proxies, covert stuff.
Exactly, fought in the shadows.
Yeah.
And what your sources really map out is how 2024 just changed the game entirely.
Fundamentally changed it. That long simmering tension, it just boiled over. We saw direct state on state confrontation, something we really hadn't seen before in this specific diet.
So, our mission here with this deep dive is to sort of unpack the key moments from this year that pushed it there from proxy to direct and figure out, based on these articles, where do things actually stand now?
And the material's great for that. Lots of detail, crucial context, and honestly, some surprising angles on just how complex and frankly volatile this whole situation is.
Okay, so digging into these sources, one thing that leaps out straight away is, well, this isn't new, is it? We're talking decades of this strategic game, cyber attacks, backing different groups, that whole shadow war thing.
That's
Yep.
the baseline. Absolutely. It was always bubbling under, but it was managed, contained, mostly through intermediaries, proxies, groups they support financially or militarily to act for.
Right. Direct clashes between the actual states. Pretty much off limits.
Until April 2024. And this is where the material you sent gets really specific. It points to that Israeli airstrike first, hitting the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria.
Yeah, and the reports highlighted it killed several senior Iranian commanders. That's a significant hit on their leadership abroad.
And the Iranian response, which these sources really stress, was unprecedented. A huge barrage, drones, missiles.
But the key detail, the stunning part the material underlines, is that it came directly from Iranian soil, aimed right at Israel. It had never happened before. Ever.
Right, never. And the world just kind of held its breath, didn't it? Was this it? The big one. A full region-wide war.
But then Israel's countermove, as the sources describe it was a strike, yes, but it seemed limited, hitting a military site near Isfahan inside Iran, but not like a massive retaliation.
And this is where the analysis in your sources is so valuable. They suggest that, okay, both sides were sending powerful messages. Iran showing it could and would hit back directly. Israel showing it could get through Iranian defenses.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, they were also signaling restraint. The scale, the target selection, it felt deliberate, calibrated maybe. Like they wanted to make a point without kicking off an all-out war.
That calibration seems key, and we absolutely have to mention the reports emphasize the international help Israel got intercepting that Iranian attack. The US, UK, France, even Jordan playing a role. And that's a whole other layer, doesn't it?
A huge factor, yeah, that multinational defense shield. But hang on, because while that direct exchange was happening, the material is crystal clear. The proxy stuff. That didn't stop. Not at all. It's been humming along all through 2024. Still is.
Oh, absolutely. The sources detail it. You've got Hezbollah and Israel trading fire constantly on the northern border. You've got other Iranian backed groups in Syria, Iraq, still active, launching attacks.
And the cyber front, too. Those attacks are ongoing between them.
Which, as the sources point out, all feeds into that wider context, right? The
Yeah.
war in Gaza, Israel fighting Hamas, another group Iran supports. One article you sent called the whole region a tinderbox. These events really show why.
Exactly. It's all interconnected. That Gaza conflict provides this constant backdrop of tension.
So fast forward to now June 2024. Where are we? According to these reports, the immediate direct tit for tat seems to have cooled off, paused maybe, but the underlying tension, still described as incredibly high.
Precisely. The proxy fights carry on. And the material you shared suggests that both sides are definitely preparing. Well, the possibility of more direct clashes later. Contingency planning. Even if it's not right now.
And looming over all of this, something constantly mentioned in your sources is Iran's nuclear program. That's the big elephant in the room, isn't it?
It really is. Israel's very clear stance that they'd act if Iran gets too close to a weapon that just fundamentally changes the stakes. The whole strategic calculus.
Yeah, how everyone weighs the risks and potential outcomes. It's a whole different ballgame with that possibility on the table.
Meanwhile, you've got diplomatic efforts, the US, Europe, working behind the scenes, trying hard to keep a lid on things, prevent that wider conflict.
And re-listening, really getting these layers from the sources is so important. This isn't just about Israel and Iran in isolation. It's woven into the fabric of Middle East instability. Understanding this thread helps make sense of current events and, well, potential future flashpoints too.
So summing up this deep dive, based on your sources, we saw this relationship hit a major inflection point in 2024. it shifted, didn't it? From decades of just proxies to direct state on state strikes, even if they were strategically limited.
Right. And crucially, while those direct hits might have start for now, the sources show the tension is still sky high, the proxy conflicts are simmering, the Gaza war continues, and that nuclear question hangs over everything. The tinderbox is still very much dry.
Which leaves us with a final thought, really drawing from the material here. Think about that delicate balance, that almost performance of messaging and restraint both sides showed back in April. How long can something like that actually hold? Especially in such a volatile region and, with the shadow of the nuclear program fundamentally altering the entire equation. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?